Cancel.
Schweezy.
All right, season 4 of Stranger Things just came out, and so I had to talk about it. Now, I'm usually pretty good at not spoiling things for people, but Stranger Things is like my one franchise that I'm like, I will spoil that for fucking anyone. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. It's like it's on Netflix. It's all on Netflix. Like I'm watching the same thing you're doing, and I'm also a couple weeks late coming to this. So if you haven't watched Stranger Things, like, are you really going to? No, don't be a little bitch about this. So no, I wanted to talk about season 4 of Stranger Things, and yeah. So let's just get right into it. Let's go full throttle. So like the first thing, like, you know, watching about this, so it's really cool. I actually really like this season. It's really interesting. The thing with Stranger Things, though, it's like when the new season comes out, I'm like all hyped towards it, and then my interest goes away like in a couple weeks. And it's like I love these characters. Joe Keery is a fucking god, hair god. Robin's great. Natalia Dyer, who plays Nancy, is a mommy. If Sadie Sink, she is 20, but she looked a little older. She looked older. She is 20, so she is legal. But if she looked older, she'd be my type. I think Millie Bobby Brown is such a fucking pick-me girl, and I can't stand her. Like, I think she's so fucking annoying in interviews and shit. Stuff like that. And so, but all the guys are cool. Dustin, Mike, Lucas, Will. You know, they're all cool. Shit like that. But we all know who the cool people are. We all know who the mommies are, and then women who could be mommies, but they still look like kids, and that's weird. I'm not attracted to children. Just not my type. Just not who I am. Anyways, though, like one thing I like really noticed with this season, though, is there's like too many storylines going on at once. Like, honestly, they could have like made complete seasons out of like each individual storyline, and it would have been fine. Or like one episode this, one episode that, you know. They kind of mix it up, and so it's like, okay, this is getting really intense. All right, time to go to this other storyline. Let's go back to Russia. Let's see what's going on there. The initial storylines we got the OG gang, at least those who were there. Steve, Robin, Dustin, and Max. And there's Lucas, who's with the Jocks in this season because he's on the basketball team and he got like the winning shot in the first episode, and now he's cool to them. We got Nancy and this other guy who ended up dying. No big deal. We got the Cali gang, Elle, Mike, Will, Jonathan, and the new guy, Argyle, who's kind of cool, who's just really into pot, you know. It's like, and then we got the Russia mission crew, which is Hopper, Joyce, Murray, Alexei, I guess, is the new guy on that side front, you know, obviously, and then there's another guy too. I can't remember his name. You know, most of them like ended up like merging like together, you know, to like they came back together. Those are like the initial storylines at the beginning of the season. Eventually, Nancy and Lucas rejoined the OG gang. Obviously, Elle like got split off from the Cali gang, and they're obviously aiming towards like an idea of they're all gonna meet up back together. Except for like the crew that went to Russia to like try to rescue Hopper. Like, honestly, that like whole side quest storyline, like, I mean, I get the idea, like, obviously season 3 ended with Hopper. We all thought Hopper was dead. And I was like, I don't think he's dead. Like, it doesn't sound like he's dead. And like there's this post-credit scene or whatever that like maybe thought he was alive. I'm like, okay, I'm like, yeah, he's clearly there in Russia somewhere. I'm like, that's clearly the case. Like, I don't think they're going to kill him off because it sounds like he's coming back from the next season. And so, like, that whole mission, like, they're trying to break Hopper out of the gulag. I think it's called a gulag. Am I right there? Is it called a gulag? I'm going to call it a gulag because I can. And so, like, that was so unrelated to every other storyline going forward in, like, this whole season. Like, you know, you always think, you know, there's something, 11 has something to do with the Upside Down. And then, you know, Will, Mike, Dustin, and Lucas, they all have like a, you know, they're all a crew, and they're like a gang. Max joins that crew, you know, Nancy, Jonathan, Dust and Steve, and then including Robin, like they're all they all kind of have something going on there, and like the stories leading up to it. I remember watching the last episode. I'm like, none of these. I mean, like I know they're doing a part 2. I'm like, I know none of these storylines are resolving. I kind of know what's gonna happen. It's gonna end on like a cliffhanger, and then we're gonna have to wait to it. And luckily, the next one comes out like July 1st, and we're like mid-June right now. So, I don't have to wait very long, which is very happy for me. But anyways, though, like that Russia mission, like none of that has anything to do with like the recurring storyline that's going on this season. It's like the Russia mission, they could have made like a mini series in between this of like how they rescued Hopper, and stuff like that. They could have been like, and then when everything else happened this season where like Jonathan and Will and Mike had to like rescue 11 from like getting arrested. They could have like, well, she's still in Alaska or whatever. And then we get to that point, the California chick. So one of the big things going on this season is that 11, or she's going by Jane, or we call her L. I don't know what to call her at this point. Like, so there's like this chick Angela who keeps like fucking with 11, like and stuff like that. And it's like, if only she knew, like 11 used to have these powers that could just fuck her up. And stuff like that. So like it's like these are the earlier episodes of the season where like it's this Cali gang plot line where 11's getting bullied by this girl named Angela and stuff like that. And so like when Mike comes to town to visit Elle, like he wants to what he wants to do is visit like go to the skating rink, and have fun or whatever. And Elle's trying to like make Mike think like her life is great out there in California, where it's not. She's having a little rough of a time. And then Angel is also at the skating rink too. They figure it out, and then like what Angel tries to do is he sees he has a boyfriend, like so they like try to embarrass her, and they basically like assault her on the skating rink, and then eventually throw a milkshake on her, and they're filming the entire time. And so basically what happens is 11 is like just fucking mad. He's like, Angela, apologize. And it's like, fuck no, I'm an 80s bully. And so what 11 does is fucking bash her skull in with a roller skate, and like only 11 gets in trouble for this. And he eventually gets arrested, and then plot points happen, and that's the show where she's trying to get her powers back. And everyone's acting like she did a bad thing. Well, she did do a bad thing. That was not a good, cool thing to do. So now give them a concussion with a roller skate. But at the same time, if, I feel like if Joyce was still around in that case, they're like, oh, this chick is bullying her, and they literally assaulted her at the skating rink. And one guy was filming it. Like, I know kids aren't that smart. They're going to keep that tape around. Like, if the cops would have gotten a warrant, or they got a lawyer to get a warrant or whatever for that, they would have retrieved that tape, see what they did to 11, and, there would be a whole different, criminal proceedings in regards to that, because that was just, there's retaliation to what she did. So Angela would have been just as big as a problem. And that's, I never get, I always, people tried to bully me in high school, but I'm so good with comebacks, and I'm not trying to fucking brag. I'm telling you, they never tried to physically harm me or whatever, but they tried to try to, whatever. And, I was so good with comebacks, I just ruined their lives. So I was that was freshman year. And then after that, I did not have to deal with anyone else's shit or whatever. But in stuff like that, when kids are getting assaulted and stuff like that, and I know I hear from teachers we don't know everything that's going on. But I'm yeah, you could probably see a kid getting the shit beaten out of them and you ignoring it. That's 100% a case that you probably see and you should probably take care of and stuff like that. And, and I think about it as an adult. If, someone punched me, which, I lived in a place where that was a big chance of an aggressive narcissist roommate who could have just attacked me at any moment, and I just had to be safe. The idea, if an adult attacks another adult, that person's getting sued, they're getting assault charges, they're getting arrested. But somehow we get to a point where it's, kids doing it, and it's that's just kids bullying. If I have a kid and another child is physically assaulting my child, I'm 100% we're doing legal proceedings against that kid. Like, we'll talk to their parents, be like, you want to do something about your kid? And they're like, nope. And I'm like, all right, cool. Kid's going to go to juvie because your kid's assaulting my kid. And I teach my kid, like, let's get some video proof. Your kid is assaulting the kid, yada, 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 and stuff like that. So, Angela, anyways, though, I'm going on a whole rant here. Angela 100% deserved everything she got in the show. She 100% deserved it. I don't feel sorry for her at all. And people are like, you got to be the bigger person and not fight back like that. I'm like, look, I'm a kind of person who, I've just been watching the new season of The Boys. Great show, anyways, on Amazon, obviously. Obviously, if you have Amazon Prime, you can watch it, and you can also, hit me up on twitch.tv/TheSchweezy. Give us a subscribe. It's a free thing if you have an Amazon Prime. And stuff like that, Huey tries to do the right things to try to, put justice to these, soups, what they call them. And they're like, we can't do this the right way. We have to do it Butcher's way, And I think at the same time, yeah, you got to do it, there's a right, there's the right way to do it, and there's the effective way to do it. You have to do the effective way with bullies. So, anyways, if you're a parent out there and your child is getting physically assaulted by another kid, treat them like adults, because you know what, your kid should not be physically assaulted and stuff like that. Where was I fucking going with this? So yeah. No, anyways, though, Angela 100% deserved everything she got in fucking Stranger Things. Like, I would have been like, if that was my kid and be like, your kid's under arrest, I'm like, no, get a search warrant and then come back. And then we tie the kid or whatever. I don't know. It's like, I don't know. I just, we deal, bullies are everywhere. You're not going to be able to escape them, but there's one thing, verbal shit, and there's another thing when you're physically assaulted. You shouldn't be scared for your life because of a bully. I don't know. Tell me what your thoughts. All right, this is a highlight. Put it in the comments. Tell me your thoughts. Here's to feeling good all the time, folks. All right. So, another thing I think is funny, Run Up That Hill, A Deal with God by Kate Bush. It's now back on the Billboard charts from this show alone, which is insane, which is also, it's just like a music guide. Also, what's the credibility of these Billboard charts now, where it's a song from the 80s, the idea is, when you release a song, it goes on the charts, it has a lifespan, and then it eventually dies down and goes away. That's your idea with these Billboard charts. Now it's a song from the 80s that was a very, very key song on a TV show can now rejoin the charts or whatever. I don't know. That's just a quick thought I had. Another one. So in the show, eventually there's the Vecna. Vecna's the real villain. It's this show is basically this whole dark underworld type thing, and these kids are trying to view it through the lens of Dungeons and Dragons. And so the Vecna is, is the killer of this. They explain it better in the show. And they show that it has 1 week, so it's been going around killing all these people. It's at first it gives them traumatic experiences, and they go through that and all that shit. And then eventually what happens is he eventually goes and kills them, and it's very horrific the way he kills them. It's like that. But they realize that the one weakness is music, especially someone's favorite song. They figure that out through the show. Don't want to spoil everything for you. I'm only spoiling a bunch of things. So, Max, the character, ends up getting cursed by this thing. And she ends up, after they play Run Up That Hill, A Deal with God by Kate Bush on repeat, and eventually that helps her from the curse and keeps everything from happening. So that's the thing. So that's a cool plot point. It's music is winning. And I'm as a music person myself, I always think oh, this is awesome. How music is really saving someone's soul. Music really is the reason. Also, this is the 80s, and there's all these, and then they're using a cassette player, a Sony, one of the really nice Sony cassette players. I was alive in the days of CD players, cassette players. I assume cassette players take less power from battery or whatever, and I typically grip a lot of CD players. I had a cassette player, but when I really got into music, it was CD players. So we didn't have rechargeable batteries back then. Not everything was rechargeable. How the fuck do they never have a battery problem with Max's cassette player? I was expecting, I'm expecting, and this may happen in part 2 or whatever, the next, the next segment of this shit, I'm expecting there to be like, the batteries are dead. Do we have spare batteries? I'm expecting that to happen, because that didn't happen. I was waiting for that to happen throughout this, the end of the series. I guess the first part was like help Max not be cursed, but now it's like, I guess we're making Max safe as long as she has this cassette player. I'm expecting a problem to rise where the cassette player is a problem. Like there is a problem, and the batteries are dead. Levels find batteries. We need batteries, and stuff like that. They maybe like take it out. I don't think the flashlights are big enough. Like they're too big batteries or whatever. So, yeah, that was another plot hole I found with this season. But overall, I thought the season was stellar. I'm like on edge to see how this ends, even though I think really Bobby Brown has insane pick-me-girl energy, and that drives me crazy. But she's good at acting, so I don't have to worry about that when I watch the show. It's just when I see her literally everywhere else. So yeah. Hey, you just finished one of the many, many highlights from Cancel Schweezy. We got plenty more on the channel, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and if you like what you just watched, go ahead and smash that like button as well. Go subscribe for more, so we can teach you how to be a better human in our world. So yeah, stay awesome.